Thank you for joining the Late But On Time podcast. This is a podcast discussing everything from parenting to politics and a few things in between. Brought to you by the SGT Collective. Happy New Year on tonight's podcast with your host, Cory Sargent. And
Donna Sargent.
We are talking about new phone, who this? So typically we name the podcast after pop culture references, typically black and brown pop culture references, and we wait until the end of the episode to name it, but we had the episode beforehand. So it's new phone, who this? Everybody knows what that means. In the context of this podcast episode, we're saying you cannot be afraid to outgrow your friends and or leave an organization. Like new phone, who this? You outgrew them. So chime in, my wife, my beautiful, beautiful wife.
Hey y'all, this is Donna. Because usually he does the whole intro. So in terms of he said everybody knows what that means. He definitely had to explain it to me before this thing started.
So I just want to say real quick, Donna's black card.
Wait.
Okay.
Don't play me. Anyway.
I didn't come for you, so don't.
Exactly.
You didn't invite me, so don't come.
If I don't send for you, that's the term. You want to talk about black cards. If I didn't send for you, don't come for me.
So how you don't know new phone, who this?
I didn't know what you were talking about. I was like, that's not a show. Was that on Living Color? I don't remember that skit. I was really lost.
Pop culture references, baby.
I was like, okay. Anyway, back to point. So the point was, I do think it's true that there are times where you're comfortable. So when you're comfortable, you tend to not want to shake things up. It's uncomfortable to like move on. So, and I think the term new phone, who this is accurate in that, but it assumes that you've deleted people and they don't know. And when they reach out to you again, you're like, who's this? Like, so I think that there's a part of that says you don't need to announce that you're leaving the room. You know what I mean? Like they will learn that you're not in the same rooms, and things will happen where you're like, I want other things for myself. Like I want to grow and change and do different things, whether it's a job, whether it's an organization, whether it's something, somewhere you're volunteering or somewhere you're giving of your time. And it's like whether it's draining you or it's not adding to your life the way it should. You don't always have to announce, when people get mad or they troll online, they're like, you know what, I'm going to unfollow you. You don't have to, baby, just unfollow. Just unfollow. So, I mean, I think there's a couple messages in that where you can see what you need to do and just do it. And we thought that this was a great time to do this because 2021, new things, new time.
Yes. So the year is like a book, right? So there's 365 pages or 366 pages. And last year we've reached the last page of 365, and it's been a tough year, right? I work in healthcare. My wife works in IT project management, right? But she got to work from home, but her perspective is different from mine, right? If the roles were reversed, I think it would have been more suitable, right? Because my wife is an extrovert. I'm an introvert by nature, or an ambivert.
Last year was hard, y'all.
Yeah, so she's been home since March.
Yeah, and I didn't love that.
And
not love that.
I literally had to go to work every day.
Had to go to work. Was behind skipped out of here every morning, like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Like
it was no 5.
It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock, ready. Like, all right, boo, bye, babe, I see you.
No,
and then come home like
crazy.
7, 8 o'clock, and I'm like, hey, and he's like, about this nap though, and I'm like, you know what?
Yo, naps are beautiful. So new listeners, we typically jump on a topic, and sometimes we squirrel. Mostly me. Mind your business, Donna. So, but one thing we can say is that we missed you guys. And but new phone, who's this? It's just like sometimes you have to not be afraid to outgrow your friends or an organization. So we left off at organization. Um, a company is not afraid to let you go. Once again, a company is not afraid to let you go. Or if a company's going down, they're going to try to get rid of as much expenditures or overhead as they can to fatten the pockets of the C tier people, right? So I'm just going to say a little bit, and Donna can chime in. Donna had a job before this one, right? Donna's very highly educated. She's the belle of the ball when it comes to enthusiasm and just her expertise, right? And I just want to plug her real quick. A Black PMP on Instagram. Go check her out. And so Donna was being uh, laid off from her job, right? Because the company was closing. But guess what? God is good, prayer is good, and having
Yes,
the
God is.
credentials that she has is awesome. She got laid off on a Thursday and got a job on a Friday.
No. Okay. No,
Whatever.
I was let go like on a Monday, and I was grateful to God that I had an offer on Friday.
That
Um,
Friday. So Monday and then Friday of that week, it was like, hey, you want to work for us? Here goes this money.
okay, wait. Let me paint the picture because without telling all the details, right?
But
Um,
they told her new phone who this, her old job.
but I was also laying the footwork to look around and like figure out what my target market was and what I wanted to do next prior to that week. But I know that job searches can be really long. So I think what Corey
4 days.
was saying was that you can definitely be given that goodbye from an organization and it not feel the same way if you want to leave and you're with your coworkers more sometimes than you are with your families. Not in 2020, but in other instances, you're with your coworkers more than you're with your actual family. So you grow close to them. Like I know I do. I know everyone's not the same, but
She's
Corey,
special.
anyway. I
People be
like
like,
my
oh my
coworkers
God,
for the most
Donna.
part. I like my coworkers wherever I go, and I think about that when I'm interviewing because I don't want to be around people I don't like. But the point
That's
is
the
that
extrovert in her.
you can absolutely. I personally think that when you're at a job, every year over year, you should be thinking about what skills you want to add to your skill set.
Say that again.
Um, so every year over year, you should be thinking about what skills do you want to add to your skill set. I'm looking at DEI. I'm looking at that's um,
Diversity inclusion.
diversity inclusion. I'm also no mind. I'm also looking into finally finishing up my ACP, which is a project management.
Hold on, stop right
Um,
there. Donna has so many alphabets behind her name.
Stop.
PMP, CSM, LSSGB. Masters. Shall I go on?
No, because you're done now. But I would my like I want to get that cert.
Oh,
So
business owner.
every
SGT Collective.
everybody should be constantly thinking about how they can be better. And I say that because if a company were to say, "New phone, who's this?" You're prepared. Your skill set isn't something where it's like you know one thing. If you can add to what you know and what you bring to the table, you should each time. So
So, but what is the difference between outgrowing an organization? Is there a difference between outgrowing an organization and outgrowing a friend or coworker?
yes,
What's the difference?
um, with the outgrowing of an organization, don't you leave that organization until you have another something. You have income coming in, consistent income, and that might just be the African American mom in me. But don't you dare, don't you? And I mean, I get it. Your savings should have at least 6 months living expenses in it.
Oh,
However,
not in New York.
anyway, however, I think it's important that you have and income. Don't let your feelings get the best of you when you're sick of something. You start laying the groundwork, you start networking, you start tapping into LinkedIn and different people, and that's how you move on. But do not just quit. I don't think that's a good idea. Versus if you have friends who are just draining you or coworkers that are draining you, you can choose to not deal immediately. You can
Is
choose
it
to
that
like
easy?
no, I mean emotions you have like tied to people and tied to like your coworkers. You may have like um projects that are attached to these people, but um you don't have to be super friendly. You don't have to talk about your kids. You don't have to talk about your holidays, and you can talk about the weather. You can talk to someone every single day and talk about nothing but shallow kiddie pool deep things. Oh, I saw this Netflix show. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, the weather. It's crazy how the weather's changing. You can keep it light. You don't have to just cut people off and treat them like they don't exist. And I'm looking really hard at my husband,
Hold
who
on,
does
hold
things
on,
like
hold
that.
on.
You
No,
don't need to
explain
do
this.
that.
Explain this. Explain this.
Explain what? The way
Explain
you
what you're saying
behave?
about me.
It's true.
How do I
So,
behave?
so when Corey decides he's done, there's no question in your mind that your phone number is no longer in his phone. There's
Oh
no
no, it's
question.
there, but it's just not used.
No, it's new phone. Who's this? So it's important. The smoker laugh makes me laugh every time. But it's important that you just realize that there are levels to this thing. You can't just treat every single situation the exact same. I tell my husband all the time, play the game
Yo,
at work. Like if there are people, let's say for instance, there are people who stress you out and they're your manager or they're the CEO or they're whatever, right? There's a way to continue that relationship
yeah,
because
you
you
don't
may
pick up your
need it.
phone. You don't pick up your phone.
Don't listen to him, y'all. Don't listen. There is a way to continue that relationship because you know that you may need to keep things polite
I
with
keep things
someone who
polite.
is that's also a lie.
No,
Okay,
I
y'all.
do. I do.
No.
I do.
So
I
it's
stopped telling
cold.
people
It's
I'm gonna come see
cold.
them.
Um,
I stopped telling people that.
Babe, you can't do inside jokes on a podcast.
So, there was this one person at the job. He was talking reckless, right? And I told him I was gonna come see him, and I meant every word of it.
That was a quote. A quote.
I'm gonna
You,
come see you.
who says that to a doctor? Okay.
Whatever. So, I told my boss what I said, and she was like, "Yo, don't say that no more, cause you threatened him." I said, "Did
I
I?"
I love his boss.
I told him I was gonna come see him. So I went to go see him. I hopped on a Revel, and I went to go see him. I went to go see him the next day, and I had a conversation with him. I was like, "Hey, what's going on?"
You hopped on a scooter in a full suit?
Yeah,
Okay.
with a bow tie. Yeah. So it's 25 cents a minute to hop on a Revel. Um, so I went to go see him and had a conversation with him, but he didn't keep that same energy because it was like, oh, you know,
Okay. I want to cut in real quick. There's a lesson in his grumpiness. I personally think
keep that same energy.
that there are times when you need to address something head on. I don't think you should be threatening, but there are
It
going
wasn't a
to be
threat.
anyway. There are times where if something were to happen, you should respond in such a way that it's like people know, oh, I shouldn't take that tone, or I remember the last time I took that tone, what happened? Like, so Corey's version of that was, I'm gonna come see you. Don't. My version of that is, I'm sorry. Hello, is there an issue? Um, so there are different ways to handle things like that, but I think it's important that you know that disrespect isn't something that needs to just be tolerated. I think you can address some things without having to lose your job. Okay. That was all I wanted to chime in with.
Yeah, I had to go see him. But nah, what Donna's saying is correct. But after that, we had a good working relationship. I believe I have a good working relationship with most of my coworkers. Do they get on my nerves? Yes, they do. But I one of the books that's changed my life is emotional intelligence. So I use that when I'm conducting myself. But I also have a little uh, board up in my office that says, "What would Tupac do?" And then it says, "Use EQ, emotional intelligence, in everything or every step you take," and then woosah 5 times. So, yeah, uh, I'm
What would Tupac do should not be a mantra at work.
I'm a walking contradiction. I'm a walking contradiction.
Okay.
But um, to we also need to adapt and adjust to all the changes that are happening in our life. So, new phone, who's this, right? We need to know and understand when it's time to leave, when it's time to grow. But with that being said, time to leave, time to grow. It's a new year. What are your goals for 2021, Mrs. Sargent?
Um,
You
I
finer than wine, girl.
wow.
Damn, all that
I plan.
chocolate.
Wow, husband,
Meow.
stop.
Okay.
Um, I plan to grow the business.
What
Um,
business, my love?
where I coach project managers, new project managers, or people who want to transition into project management. So
What about existing project managers?
I do plan to like help them if they have questions, but that's not my target audience. My target audience are new PMs. Um, and of course, if people who are project managers but feel like I may have something that could help them, they absolutely should reach out. But specifically, my target market is new PMs because I know that feeling. I know what it was like to lead a project and have that responsibility
And
and the newness of it.
is
So
this typically any project manager, or is it primarily women?
it's primarily women, and it's for the most part women in tech.
Okay.
Um, but I'm open to. I've reached out to people, or people who've reached out to me, are in all different industries. So to grow that business, to get a few more certifications, and my uh, aim is to be promoted in my 9 to 5. So there are things that I'm working toward and looking forward to, hopefully. But that's the plan.
That's what's up. So, being that you didn't ask me what my goals were, I'm going to chime in.
Wow, husband, I was gonna get to it.
It took too long. So, my goals in 2021, or some of my goals in 2021, is to one, write down my goals, not just talk about them. Two, I had to clear my throat because she was looking at me crazy. Two is I want to mentor at least 5 people for the year and continuously onward. And then we've joined this new app called Clubhouse, right? It's iPhone only invite.
Shout out to Clubhouse.
So actually, new phone, who this? It ties into that. But Clubhouse, and my brother has a club called the Hustler Club on Clubhouse. It's great. It has financial advice. It has LLC advice, and we're actually doing a giveaway. We're doing a raffle. His name is Ream Team New York
Yeah,
on
I was
Instagram.
like, I love how they never mention that they're brothers. Like Ream Team, who is like amazing and knows how to, you know, network and talk to people and promote people and make people feel seen. Like they go back and forth on Clubhouse and they joke or whatever, but it rarely comes up that they're brothers. And if you see them together, there's a difference in height. We won't go there,
Listen,
but
listen.
they look so similar. It's crazy.
Kareem
But
is
anyway,
taller than me, so height
he's
skips a birth.
he's the older little brother.
You shut your
I'm
mouth.
sorry.
So Kareem is taller than me, but yeah, like I was saying, Clubhouse. He has the Hustlers Club, or the Hustler Club, I should say. Financial advice. It gives you tips and tricks how to start a LLC, how to do trademark. It's just a wealth of knowledge. So if you are listening to this and you have an iPhone, you can hit Ream Team up on Instagram, or hit me up on Instagram at SGT Collective, right? And then if I have an invite, I'll give it to you. But to go back, and he also has a room called Black in Tech, right? It helps people transition into tech, or how to get into the tech field.
Shout out to Blacks in Tech.
And what I would say is, the giveaway that we're doing for the Hustler Club is five. We're paying for 5 LLCs. So we're paying for 5 people to get a business, and there's a raffle, and I'm paying for one person to get a trademark or trade or their logo trademark, right? So we're giving away 6 things, right? And one of the things I would say is go to Ream Team NY at on Instagram, and you can see they post the different raffle giveaways, or you can go to the Hustler Club on Instagram, and you can find the text message number to join the raffle. But with all that being said, the goal of 2021 should be to get better, to grow. But one question I have for you, because we didn't do the 5 core questions because we don't have a guest, is Donna, what is one of the books that has changed your life?
The Alchemist.
Okay. And one of the books that have changed my life, and I said it already, is Working with Emotional Intelligence. But another one is Leaders Eat Last and Measure What Matters. So in life, we should always measure what matters to us and measure um, everything that is proper. So there's a thing called OKR, objective and key results. We should always make a goal, make it attainable, right? Measure our goals and see where we are in order to finish our goals off. So this is episode 1 of season 2 of the Late But On Time podcast with their host Corey Sargent,
Anna Sargent.
and we have definitely missed you guys. So we will be dropping a new episode, hopefully with a guest host. But if not, hey, it is what it is. Hey, Ordonna, I got to tell you something. I love you.
Love you more.
Oh, talk about it, baby.